So first, let's talk about Whitespace because I haven't talked to you about this yet. You'll notice I've been programming with 4 spaces between the previous enclosing block and everything inside. That is a good common programming practice that you should always do. So just keep doing basically what I've been doing. You can get rid of these spaces. You can put spaces here and here. Visual Studio basically just, or sorry, C++ ignores these spaces. It just gets rid of them when it compiles your code. But this looks awful, doesn't it? We want to just always have a consistent style so that whenever other people read our code or when we go back and read our code, it all makes sense and it's all really, really easy to read. So let's go over the first variable I'm going to teach you, and that is the char, C-H-A-R, and that stands for character. So what a character or a char holds is essentially just a single letter or a digit or just one symbol. If you've ever heard of an ASCII character sheet, or if you've ever heard of people doing ASCII art, those ASCII characters are essentially what this holds. So we'll say char dog equals, and then what we're going to do is to get a letter, you have to do a single quotes. Like this, and then you can type your letter in there or your symbol or whatever. So we'll say char dog equals the symbol dollar. Say the dollar sign, okay? And we always need a semicolon, always remember. So let's go ahead and see out dog to the screen. You're not supposed to see that. So we should get a dollar sign on the screen. Let's see if it works. There we go. See, we got a dollar sign. Now, what if we want to store 2 letters, right? What if we want $2 or something? Or what if we want to have a name? What if we want Ben, okay, and we have char player name. Okay, what if we want the player's name? So that down here we can say your name is player name. So you can imagine we're playing a video game, right? And we ask the player to input his name. Say we're making a little RPG or a dungeon crawler or something. We need to hold on to his name. We need to know what we're going to call him whenever the NPCs talk to him and stuff, right? So we need a variable that holds that. And you'll recall I've been calling these things strings, right? Any sequence of characters enclosed by these quotation marks, I've been calling them strings. Well, that's because that's what they are. And we actually have a variable called a string. Okay, so we have a string player name equals Ben, but this isn't going to work because as you can see, these are single quotes. These are meant for chars. We use double quotes for multi-character sequences for strings. So we're going to do double quotes there, and then now this is going to work. However, we're not quite done, so we can get the string variable, but we can't output it to the screen because we need to include string up here at the top. This is the second library we're going to include. So the string header file here that we're including has some extra stuff for strings that we need. We can use strings even if we don't include this, but if we want to do something like see out it to the screen, there's extra code in here that will let us do that. So we got to make sure we include string whenever we're using strings for stuff like that. It's always just a safe bet to go ahead and include that anytime you're using strings in your program. So now that we have a string, we should be able to output it to the screen. Let's see if it says your name is Ben. There we go, your name is Ben. So see, this stuff is not that complicated. You just store values, then you can output them later. We can modify this if we want. What if we want to change our name? We could say player name equals Fred. So now our player name is Fred. If we copy paste this and we output it again, we should get your name is Fred. It should happen. There we go. Just like we would expect, just like we've been doing with all the other variables. Now there's something special about strings. They're not a normal primitive type. Everything we've learned so far, int, float, right, char, these things are primitives. They don't really have anything special. If we said int a and we said a dot, there wouldn't really be, you see nothing pops up, there's nothing special. However, if we say, let's say we have player name here, if we say player name dot, if you're in Visual Studio, you'll see a bunch of stuff pops up. That's because this is a class. A class has its own little functions and things it can do that help you out, that give you things functionality. We're going to learn how to make our own classes later, but first let's try to use something in the string class. What if we want to know how long the string is, right? My name is 3 letters long. Let's see if we can get that. So let's say see out your name is, and then we're going to say player name dot length letters long. Oop, forgot the string. Letters long. Okay. And let me get some good formatting in here. So as you can see, I did this dot length and then I used parentheses right here because it's a function. Just like main is a function. Remember, anything that's a function, you just always got to remember to put parentheses here. That's how it knows it's a function. So what this does is it executes a little bit of code. What it does is it basically takes our string variable and it counts how many letters there are. So it's going to count all the letters and put them right here. Okay, anytime you make a function call with dot length or something like that, or anytime you put a variable in, you can always just think of it as replacing whatever you typed here with the results of that expression. So player name is going to be Ben, right? Player name dot length is going to be the number 3 because it's going to get essentially replaced by the output of this length function. So let's see if that works. So we should get your name is 3 letters long. There it is. You see it works. There's lots of other cool stuff you can do with